One of the most common things that I hear when I get on the phone with a new potential client, and she's a woman, is that she'll say to me, I work in a male dominated industry, and I feel like I have to act like a man in order to be heard. The men in my office, the men in my companies tend to talk over me. They're so much bolder. They actually have less experience than me, and yet they get all the credit. I feel like they take credit for my ideas, etc. Maybe you relate to this. How can you find confidence in a man's world? What, traditionally the business world is a man's world. And there's still that old paradigm playing itself out of how to be professional. I don't know about you, when I bring to mind what professional means, like what my subconscious mind thinks is professional, I see a man in a suit. Do you? Like, if I really dig into my subconscious, that's the image that's in there. I don't know, where did I learn that? I learned that maybe from movies. I learned that maybe from seeing my father every morning get up and wear a suit and go to the office. I want you to be successful as a businesswoman, as a professional woman, as an entrepreneur, whatever it is for you. And I want you to be successful as a woman, right? That you can feel like a woman while you also make money, get promotions, achieve goals, win sales, etc. The woman probably wouldn't say win sales. She would say, oh, I just signed up a new client, or I'm so excited to work with this new client. Because women tend to value connection. We value rapport. We value the sense of serving others and caring about others. And that is actually incredibly inspiring. Let's tap into that power of you as a woman to make you even more successful with your leadership presence and your communication. Here are 4 tips to find your authentic voice as a woman in a man's professional world. First of all, this is a mindset shift that you've got to get, is that I want you to be a woman. Don't emulate men. Accept your difference. Accept your difference. It's okay that you're not a man, right? You can still be successful, but you can do it as a woman. So I encourage you to stop emulating men and explore what it would be, what it would be like to find your power, your certainty as a woman. What's different about that? And start to think about, who would I emulate? Who are the women that I admire? Who are the women leaders, the women speakers that I would want to emulate? Usually when I ask women this, they think of somebody like Michelle Obama, who's an amazingly powerful woman. And I don't mean that just because of her, her past being the wife of Obama. I mean, she's a powerful woman in how she speaks up for herself, how she stands up for what she believes in, how she holds her body in intense situations, how she manages her emotions, at least from what we can see in the public spotlight, right? So who do you emulate? Who would you admire? With that woman in mind, think about the way that she presents herself. How does she use her body? How does she use her voice? Well, what are the qualities that come through in her voice and her body and her word choice? Usually what I hear when I ask women this is a sense of certainty, that she knows what she's talking about. Now, who knows if she always does? Men don't always know what they're talking about. But she acts as if she is certain. Generally, that's true with the women that you respect. And the women that you respect and want to emulate will often come across as certain, even when they're telling you that they don't know the answer. Their personal value is not disrupted by not knowing the answer in that moment or being unsure. They are certain about being uncertain. Yeah, that's even possible. So see if you can cultivate that quality within yourself, that you're not looking for approval from the outside. There's certainty coming from the inside. Then more on a technical level, there's the next two tips are going to be about how you can use your body and your voice to succeed more in that man's world while not emulating men, but taking on the characteristics that men have been trained in generally, this is a generalization, generally trained in early in life that women were not. The first tip that's a specific technique is to be aware of the pitch and resonance of your voice. A lot of women will ask me, do I need to lower the pitch of my voice to come across more strongly? And I would say no, though your vocal pitch might lower when we work on certainty. Because when a woman is certain about what she's saying, her voice comes from a different part of her body. A woman who is uncertain would sound like this. Well, I'm not really sure. Maybe we should do this. It naturally goes higher pitch and it's up in my head. And notice my nose and my forehead start to come forward more. There's a sheepishness. There's a looking for permission and approval that comes out. And the body will then follow. Maybe the body will turn and collapse and sway into one side. And this is how women have been taught from very young ages to express themselves, is to connect and make sure we're on the same page first before making a decision. So it's collaborative. Those things are good, but they've become unconscious choices for you. So what I recommend with your voice is that you allow the certainty to drop your resonance. Your resonance. This is a big topic, vocal resonance. Maybe I'll do another video on vocal resonance. But what I mean is resonance up in your head will often sound uncertain and airy, and maybe even nasal. Resonance down in your chest and your belly is even deeper, will come across as certain and powerful. Not because you're putting on a technique, but because it comes from your guts. Yeah. So see if you can drop your voice down into your guts, into where the place in your body where that you know what's true. Last tip is a little bit more about your body. So men are taught from a young age to take up a lot of space with their bodies. There's a lot of examples of this with athletes and all kinds of like politicians, etc. So we see men taking up a lot of space. Now women are taught to take up less space, cross their legs, lean into one hip. If we think historically, to wear those corsets that makes us really small and tight, etc. So there's something in the unconscious mind about women being smaller. And I'm going to encourage you to purposely take up more space physically and see what it brings up in you. So do this with me now. Just take your arms out to the side, wide, wide, wide. See how much space you can take up. You can even widen your legs. See what that is like to take up more space. And your chest naturally lifts. Now, what if you were to do this in a meeting? You take up space. You move your arms fully. You sit up taller. When you walk around a room, you take up space with your body. I give you permission right now to take up more space. I hope these tips were helpful for you to start to explore how you've been affected by the culture, unconsciously generally, and how that's affecting your confidence, right? And your leadership presence. And I hope that you'll go out in the world, find more certainty as a woman in your own voice, coming from a deeper place in your body and from a knowing that you have permission to take up space.